Introduction of Management Scholar or the Business Leader. Mary Parker Follet was an American social worker and a management consultant. She was also a visionary and pioneering individual in fields such as human relations, democratic organization, and management. She was born in Massachusetts, United States, and graduated from Radcliffe summa cum laude in 1898. She made an intensive research into government while still at Radcliffe. She published her first book, The Speaker of the House of Representatives 1909, which was admired by Theodore Roosevelt as the best study from the office that the government has ever done. Besides Lillian Gilbreth, she was also one of the greatest women experts in management in early days of classical management theory. Mary Parker Follet was success during her lifetime. Even after her 10 years death, her writings became largely neglected. Some implicit and explicit references of management and non-business ethics can be found in Mary Parker Follett's management theory. Her approaches to management and business have a lot to do with ethics. Follet states that managers should implement standards used by the Professional Management Association.
Hi and Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Bazirah binti Abdul Ghafur. Today I would like to present about the history of Mary Parker Follet. Mary Parker Follet was a visionary and pioneering individual in the field of human relations, democratic organizations and management. She enrolled at Radcliffe College, Harvard's next for women. She read law, history and political science from 1890 to 1891 and developed an interest in English life and working conditions. She moved to Boston in 1900 and started working in Roxbury for the needy and the oppressed. In 1908, she became chairperson for the Women's Municipal League Committee on Extended Use of School Buildings, and in 1911, she helped open the East Boston High School Social Center. Her work in this field has helped change her outlook on democracy. Follet later served as a member of the Minimum Wage Board of Massachusetts, and she became vice president of the Association of the National Community Center in 1917. Her second book, The New State, which deals with the human nature of government, democracy and the role of the local community, was published in 1918. In 1924, Follet published her third book, Creative Experience. This work addresses more directly the creative interaction of people through an ongoing process of circular response. Okay, next I will explain about the definition of management theory from Mary Parker Follet. First, the constructive conflict. Constructive conflict is that conflict as a natural and inevitable part of life does not necessarily have to lead to harmful outcomes. A conflict may provide an opportunity for positive or constructive growth if approached with the right analytical and creative methods. And there are three ways to respond to conflict, which are dominance, compromise, and integration. Next, coordination. Coordination is done to achieve the objective of the organization. There are four principles of coordination that are introduced by Mary Parker Follet, which are: first, direct contact. Direct contact between workers and executive allows companies to prevent disputes and misunderstanding. Second, early phases. Coordination should be taught straight away and perfected. Third, reciprocal interaction. Both workers are responsible for pulling their weight and integrating with the rest of the company, regardless of their degree of hierarchy. Fourth, and the lastly, is continuous process. Coordination must be preserved. Okay, after that, power and authority. Power is the ability to make things happen, to be a causal agent, and to initiate change. She makes a distinction between power over and power with. The former may tend to be coercive power, while the latter is a jointly developed coactive power. Power with is superior to power over, as it is a self-developing entity which promotes better understanding, reduce friction and conflict, and encourage cooperative endeavor. Lastly, leadership. According to Follet, A leader is not the president of the organization or head of the department, but one who can see all around a situation, who sees it as related to a certain purposes and policies, who sees it evolving into the next situation, who understands how to pass from one situation to another. And there are three types of leadership, which are leadership of position, leadership of personality, and leadership of function.
The application system of management theory. There are a few Mary Parker Follet management theory that can be used in organizations to increase their productivity. Mary Parker Follet practiced 4 principles of coordination that she used to develop her theory in management, which is direct contact, early stages, reciprocal relationship, and continuous process. Despite these principles, she also created a management theory that's still relevant to use. She created principles such as power with, integration, and also group power. So in direct contact, the best way to having a good relationship with people is by having a direct contact. This is the effective ways to deliver information, ideas, and communication. She believes the way to avoid misunderstanding and conflicts between employees and manager is by having a direct contact. Both parties need to have a meeting and discussions to practice the principle. A big company like AirAsia should use this principle before making their decisions. If they do so, the conflict that occurs in their organizations can be reduced and can maintain their reputation, as well as having a good coordination in organization. In early stage, employees need to learn coordinate so that they will not feel less important and has their role and task to do as an employee. By having early stages of planning, decision, and policy making, coordination can be achieved easily in organizations. We can relate this with a corporate company in Malaysia. Many of their employees failed to coordinate with their workplace that lead to them to leave and move to another organizations. Reciprocal relationship. We can observe this situation in hotel management. This stage is when everyone in their hierarchy put their responsible to the organizations as a team effort. Each of a department play a big role in team effort. Regardless in office or in the front doors or even in the kitchen, they coordinate and put their responsibility at first place to give a good service to their guests and customer. Continuous process. The continuous process, which all the stages should be maintained and practiced. Coordination is a continuous process and management need to concentrate performance continuously. If organization good in doing so, their reputation can maintain longer in the market. A company like Nokia and BlackBerry should follow this last stage, which can help them sustain well. Organizations should implement these 4 principles to sustain their performance in the market. So next, let's move to the principles, which is power with. Mary Parker Follet highlighted the importance of power with, despite of powering over, integrate with employees to solve conflicts. In this power theory, she believes that workers shall practice collective power despite of having organizations strict neglecting power of individual over others. In this concept, powering with their team is much better compared to powering over them, so that each member will feel just values just like other workers. Each of departments should apply this concept to keep their productivity at high level. This can help company and organization to perform well in the market. Integrations. Mary Parker Follet management theory also give an integrated environment to the organizations. All levels in hierarchy should integrate to reach organization goals. They should work together and put their effort to pull despite of push conflicts. All the employees and the workers need to identify their underlying and compatible need to meet their desire to result a win-win situation in their organization. We can refer this to the key performance indicator of organizations. Each of the employee need to meet their key performance indicator to achieve their target. Lastly, the application of Mary Parker Follet management theory is the group power. Organization should not focus on one person's benefit but focusing more on all workers' benefit instead. This mindset will lead the workers to feel that they are on the same team rather than having a competition between them. The group power should be valued over personal power. Organization should appreciate each of their workers by reward them with a company holiday or by having a department dinner to keep a good relationships with their employees.
Okay, next, I will explain about the contribution of management theory Mary Parker Follet. First, identifying conflict and diversity as integral to the organizational experience. Conflicts were discovered by Mary Parker Follet to be normal processes resulting from various social standards. A conflict is not a struggle. It is merely a reflection of disagreements between belief or interests. In Mary Parker Follet theory, she determined that there are three ways in which conflicts are generally resolved, which are by dominance, compromise, and integration. Follet thought that to achieve the organization's objective, staff at all levels should integrate. In integrations, none of the parties need to give up something in the solution, and all the interest is served. Okay, next, denies the illusion of final authority and asserting the importance of participatory decision making. Between power over and power with, the better form of power is power with because it stimulates development. It facilitates greater understanding and decreased tension and the risk of disputes. Rather than forming a rigid hierarchy and delegating control over others to some people, Follet claimed that collective power should be exercised by workers. It's easier to power their team than to power them. Each members feel just as valued as the next. Structure is still important, but workers do not feel less valued than their executive. Okay. Third, developing a relational concept of authority that relies on the law of the situation. A leader, in her view, is the one who keeps an eye on the big picture, the one who encourages change to new situations, and who knows how to move to these new situations. Follet divides leader in three different functions, which are positional leadership, personality leadership, and functional leadership. In modern organization, functional leadership is a form of leadership. It has to do with the fact that various individuals will take the lead in such circumstances. In that case, the one who is better suited for a particular action will take the lead. Okay, lastly, there is the importance of the group in the organization. According to Follet, there are four principles of coordination, which is first, direct contact, second, early phases, third, reciprocal interaction, and lastly, continuous process. Coordination encourages team spirit. It gives proper direction to the organization. It motivates the employee. Coordination affects all the function of the management.
Hi, Assalamualaikum and very good evening to Doctor and all of my classmates. My name is Nusyazwani binti Harun. My metric number is 253717. Okay, I will continue the presentation by explain about the criticism of the management theory by Mary Parker Follet. Okay, first is according to Parker, 1984, limited recognition has been paid to Follet in organizational management because her work did not fit into any one school of thought. Follet's work has been classified as part of the scientific management school, as part of the human relations school, and as a forerunner to system theory. Another explanation for Follett's limited popularity is that some writers ignore her work because of her gender, evidenced by the fact that women did not receive recognition in management until the late 20th century. Besides that, Stevens 1996 said Follett's work has had a problematic history not because she was a woman, but because her ideas do not fit well with mainstream organizational and management theory. However, Follett's gender may be considered as issues because her ideas were culturally feminine, based on a caring approach that did not sit well with the masculine management world. According to Morton and Linguist 2001, they categorized Follett's work as feminist based on a formal philosophical analysis. First is ontologically Follett's organization and democratic theory is based on human relationship, which is a primary emphasis of feminist theory. Second is epistemologically the law of the situation developed by Follett, sees knowledge being developed through observation and experience, a stance taken in feminist literature. Lastly, Follett's ethical version is that of integration through embracing diversity and open honest communication in conflict resolution, which reflects many feminist approach to conflict resolution because Follett's work offer a coherent approach to management and democratic processes. Morton and Linguist advocate using her works and feminist theory as the field of public administration seeks to build theory to improve public management and enhance the legitimacy and responsiveness of governmental organization. Okay, next is according to Murphy, 1996, the issues of gender make acceptance toward Follett's work becomes limited and force her to turn her attention to other areas where she can got acceptance, such as the business community. This is because of the masculine culture of diplomacy predominates at the League of Nations. Cantor 1995 convinced that Follett's gender played a role in her neglect and because she was not an academic or a chief executive officer, denying her two means of ensuring lasting importance. In addition, Follett was a utopian with communitarian ideas that ran counter to American individualism. Cantor also believed another reason Follet was popular in Japan and England but not American is because the geography that accepts women's ideas. Okay, next is about the conclusion. Mary Parker Follett gives a lot of benefits through her useful theory in order to increase the management productivity. Although her contribution was soon forgotten after her death in 1933, especially in the USA, Follett's major ideas of management theory are consist of constructive, conflicts, coordination, power, and authority and leadership. She looked to approach organization as group networks rather than as hierarchical structures and attend to the influence of human relations within the group. Even she got a lot of criticism, especially about her gender, but it is not put down her goals to be a good pioneer. Follett believed, instead of shutting out what is different, she should welcome it because the different will make a richer content of life. Okay, that's all from our group, Mary Parker Follett's group. Thanks for watching.